Hey guys, my name is Amish, and today we'll talk about energy and matter. And this is the part one of this video of this topic. And I'll tell you about the different forms of energy and what matter is. So let's begin. So, first of all, you have to know one thing is that matter occupies space and it has mass. However, energy has no shape or form but has the ability to do work. So this basically means that energy there's no like it doesn't occupy like space. It's like it's invisible. Okay, so it does not have any shape, but it has the ability to do work. So and matter occupies space and it has mass. So I'll now go in detail in the next slides. So let's look at the different forms of energy. So energy has many different forms as you guys already know. So the first form that you can talk about is heat energy, and heat energy is also called thermal energy. But thermal energy is like a more sophisticated way of saying heat energy. Like it's a better term in physics or chemistry. Okay. Uh, so thermal energy, it results from the kinetic energy of atoms and molecules. The faster the motion, the more thermal energy or heat energy a substance has. And temperature is basically a measure of thermal energy. And as you know, the SI unit for temperature is degrees Celsius. So yeah, so so if something has kinetic energy, in other terms, it means that it's moving. If something has kinetic energy, it's moving, and the more it moves, the faster it moves, the more heat energy it has. Okay, so they're directly proportional. And the second type is radiant energy. So, it's usually called light energy, but radiant energy is like a more sophisticated way of saying light energy. And radiant energy is basically created by light and other electromagnetic waves. uh, objects left in sunshine will heat up as they absorb the radiant energy and convert it to thermal energy. What this basically means is that objects which are kept in sunshine and there's sunlight penetrating through them, right? So they convert that light energy, which is radiant energy, and they convert it into thermal, which is heat energy. Okay. Third type is sound energy, and it's basically produced when objects make a sound or noise, and this is common sense. So whenever like you hear a noise or whenever an object makes a noise or a sound, that means it has produced sound energy. And number four is electrical energy, which results from the flow of electrically charged particles. So this basically could be ions. So ions carry electrical energy. These could be electrons. Electrons carry electrical energy. So any electrically charged particles have electrical energy. Okay. Fifth is gravitational potential energy, and gravitational potential energy, also called GPE, is basically energy stored in objects which are like at a certain height. Okay, so any object which is above ground level, it's like on top floor, second floor, whatever, it means it has some gravitational potential energy. And the higher the object is, uh, the more the gravitational potential energy it has, providing that the masses are equal. So if there are two objects and their masses are equal, and one of them is at 5 meters above ground and the other one is 10 meters above ground, the 10 meters one will have more gravitational potential energy. Sixth one is chemical potential energy, and it's basically stored within a chemical compound in the bonds. So a good example of chemical potential energy would be food. Food has chemical compounds which are bonded, and they basically contain chemical potential energy. Seventh type is nuclear potential energy. It's basically energy stored in the nucleus of an atom. So remember, you have the shells and you have the nucleus. Inside it has protons and neutrons, and then you have shells and there are electron orbiting around the shells. So nuclear potential energy is stored inside the nucleus. Okay, and the nucleus contains protons and neutrons only. Let's look at energy. So arrangements of atoms and compounds are due to the atoms and their electrons wanting to achieve a lower energy state. So basically, this means that the reason why atoms form compounds, the reason why they form compounds is because they want to achieve a lower energy state. That's why they either lose or gain electrons. So this basically determines the arrangement of atoms in a compound. And the second thing is that energy changes accompanying a chemical reaction will determine whether a reaction will occur or not. Okay, any energy released may also be used as heat or work. Energy changes can be used to identify materials in spectroscopy. So this is a key term that you need to know. I'll go in detail in other videos about spectroscopy, but you just need to know that energy changes can also be used to identify materials in spectroscopy. Okay. Now let's look at the famous theory, which is kinetic theory of matter. So as you guys probably know that there are three types of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. There's a fourth type as well. It's called plasma, but you don't need to know it at this stage. You only need to know three main types: solid, liquid, gas. And all matter is made up of particles, and particles could be atoms, molecules, or ions. The particles attract each other by electrostatic forces, which could be interatomic or intermolecular. Interatomic means forces between the atoms, intermolecular means forces between the molecules. So so this is a key term that you need to know: electrostatic forces. So the particles are attracted together by electrostatic forces. The other thing is that the particles are moving, so this means they have kinetic energy. As I said earlier, that if something has kinetic energy, it means it's moving. And the other thing is that states of matter depend on the balance of kinetic energy pushing them apart and attractive forces between particles pulling them together. So this basically means that states of matter, which means what. So a question could be, what determines whether a matter is solid, liquid, or gas? So what determines that is kinetic energy, which pushes them apart. So the more kinetic energy substance has, the more pulling forces there will be, and therefore gases have the highest kinetic energy uh, because the higher the kinetic energy, the greater the pulling forces. And attractive forces between particles, which means pulling them together, also determines the state of matter. That's why solid have the strongest attractive forces, because that's why they're solid, because attractive forces mean that they're being pulled together. Okay. So as an illustration, as an example, I'll tell you the example of types of matter. So if you look at molecules, oxygen is a molecule and sulfur is a molecule, because oxygen is O2. This means that it has two oxygen atoms. So this becomes an oxygen molecule. And sulfur have 8 sulfur atoms. Okay, so sulfur is also a molecule. And example of ions and atoms would be sodium chloride and diamond. Diamond, it's basically a form of carbon, and carbon is an element. And diamond is a solid at room temperature. And sodium chloride has ions. Okay, so these are examples of types of matter. So guys, thanks for watching. I wish you all the best for your exams, and please like, subscribe, click on the bell icon and share the video. And you can also view my other videos on chemistry, which are empirical formula and other stuff. Do check out my channel, and I'll see you later. Thanks.